Now, let's get charged up about electric vehicles with Energy Services Representative Derek Blankenship.
Good afternoon. Today, like you've seen in our time, we're going to be talking about electric vehicles. As we've seen more of these vehicles on our streets, and we've seen these charging stations on our local retailers, we've been getting a lot of questions about these vehicles. Because of this interest, CAEC has 2 electric vehicles for the purposes of research, demonstration, and to be able to help you as a member to be able to make the right choice when it comes to your future purchase. Today we want to answer some of the most common questions that we've been getting from you. And if you have your own specific questions, feel free to give us to text us at the number on the screen. The first question that we get asked, and it's the number one question, is how much does an electric vehicle cost? Most people think that the electric vehicle costs a lot more than what it really does. But on average, an electric vehicle costs around 30% more than its gas equivalent. Now when you look at the cost, this is going to be dependent on 2 factors, the brand and the battery size. You'll find some brands has the vehicle as low as $31,000 before any kind of tax credits or incentives, both locally and nationally. The second factor is going to be the battery size. Most models will have a battery size from low range all the way to extended range, and they look at that for the miles that are offered on those batteries. Because of that increase in range, that price will increase as well. That's just the first part of the cost. If we want to look at the entire life of the vehicle, we want to look at how much it costs to fill that vehicle or charge that vehicle up. You'll see on the graph, charging an electric vehicle will be half the cost of its gas counterpart. If you'll see, maybe your power bill may increase by $30 to $40 a month if you're charging at home all the time, but your gas bill, what you're paying for filling that vehicle up with gas, will be decreased by about $70 to $80. So if you look at that for a yearly time, instead of paying $700 to $800 for gas, you're going to pay closer to around $400 for that new electric vehicle. So that cost is going to decrease. The other part of it that's going to decrease is going to be your maintenance cost. When you talk about now you have no oil because you have an electric motor, so that oil cost goes down completely. So with the decrease in maintenance cost, the decrease in fuel charge and fuel cost, that price of that vehicle now is going to be very attainable for many people. The next thing we see is once we know what the cost is now where and how do I charge the vehicle? Well, there are 2 places that you can charge the vehicle. You can charge it at home, you can charge it in the public. When you're charging them at home, there are 2 levels of charging that you can use. The first is level 1, and this is a 110 volt that uses a regular wall outlet. This is going to be used from a cable that's going to be provided to your car from the manufacturer. The second level is going to be the level 2, and this is going to be used on a 220 volt outlet similar to a dryer outlet, or it can also be hardwired into the house. Now as level 1, you can only charge this vehicle, it takes about 24 hours to fully charge on level 1, but on level 2, it can charge up to 8 hours. So it's a much faster, a much more efficient way to charge this vehicle. Now you can have these installed in your home, and we would recommend you doing so if you purchase one. The other level is now for the public side. In public, you can also use a level 1 or a level 2, but in public you'll use a level 3 charging station. You can find one. Now level 3 is going to be a utility grade charging station, and these can charge your vehicle about 80% full in 30 minutes or less. Now the question may come in is, where are these level 3 charging stations located? Right now in Alabama, there are only about 10 locations that have level 3 charging stations. However, the state has enacted the Alabama Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Plan. In this plan, they are wanting to schedule level 3 charging stations to be installed everywhere from our main highways and our interstates, and they will be within 50 miles of each other. With this plan enacted, it'll make long distance travel very easy. And there's already money allocated for this program. So keep a lookout for that as well. And when we look at these charging stations and we talk about being for a long distance, another question we get is, how far will these vehicles go on a single charge? most vehicles have a bare minimum of 200 miles per charge. And that's that low range we talked about. It can go, and there's even some for the extended range will get above 300 miles on a charge. There are manufacturers who are announcing vehicles coming in the next model will reach 400 and plus miles, getting us very close to what a full tank of gas will get on their counterpart. When we look at this, we go, okay, well, now that we want to go on a long distance travel, and you've talked about this part, but how do I know where these charging stations are located? It's a good question. There's a website called www.plugshare.com. On this website, you will put in your location, your destination, and the type of vehicle that you own, and it will plot out your route, or multiple routes depending on which way you would like to go. The other part of this is you would want to take it and put it on an app. You'd want to download the app onto your phone, because when you're traveling, like we always do, we may have a detour, may something come up, it'll guide you and let you know where the next available station is when you're going there. Now, when you're going on a long distance trip and you've never used your electric vehicle to that location, you want to call and verify that that charging station that may show to be there is still active and working. So you want to make sure you have a good charging spot where you're going. It looks like we have a question that's come in.
Hi, Derek. Talking about long distance trips and the mileage we can get, the question came in is, what if you run out of electricity and you're on the side of the road?
That's a very good question, and that's a very big issue. A lot of people are worried about this called range anxiety. Now, what you'd want to do is you want to plan your trip to make sure that you don't run into this situation. You want to have enough miles left that when you charge, you don't run into this issue. However, this problem does occur. This is another reason, one, you want to have the app downloaded so you know where your nearest station is located, but you also find a lot of manufacturers will have a roadside assistance option available. So this is going to be another area where you're going to want to make sure of where you're going and where your local stations are. You want to keep up with where those are going to be. Now, another question we get asked is, what do these vehicles look like? Are they look like normal vehicles like we would see, or are they glorified golf carts? Well, we have the two vehicles here, so let's take a look outside and let's see what they look like. Come on. Let's take a look at our electric co-op vehicles and see the differences between them and their gas counterpart. So the first difference we're going to see is the engine. In an electric vehicle, there is no regular engine, you have an electric motor. So you have one moving part, so it takes away from oil changes, fan belts, spark plugs, etc. So the maintenance is going to be very minimal. So instead of the engine, we now have an electric motor sitting in that spot in vehicles similar to the Chevrolet Bolt. Next, let's look at the Tesla and see what's inside its place where the engine should be. There's nothing here. In vehicles like the Tesla, there are two or more motors and they're located near the bottom. So instead of having an engine, we have extra storage space. Now, we talked a few minutes ago about different levels of charging. Every vehicle comes with a 110 or a level 1 charging cable that you can use anywhere you want. So the next question we get is, how do these vehicles drive? Let's find out. So when entering into the vehicle, one of the first things you're going to notice is the display screen. On the display screen, you can use it for everything. It shows the speedometer, shows a navigation, and even controls of everything in the vehicle, both the software and the hardware of the vehicle. So the next thing we're going to notice is the sound of the vehicle. As you know, it's already started and it's running, but we don't hear anything. What happens even if we rev the engine or if we accelerate? Will we hear anything? No. Very little sound is heard. So one of the main questions we get asked, well, if you can't hear anything, how fast does it really go? Models like the Tesla can go 0 to 60 in roughly 2.5 seconds and has a max speed of 120 miles an hour. Do you want to know what that looks like? So just like we talked about before, we're using a level 2 charging station. So every time you drive, you want to make sure you charge up the vehicle so that you have a full battery. Very simple. Just take the cord and plug it in. And now the car's charging. So let's head back inside and finish our conversation. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that little trip we had outside. One of the things we did at the very end there is we always plugged our vehicle in after our driving. This is also going to help with making sure that we don't get stuck on the side of the road. We always want to make sure that our vehicles are being charged up every time we drive. So it looks like we had some questions since that video.
Hey, Derek. Yeah, we had some. One was, somebody was, that looked like a lot of fun. Can I drive one of the co-op's electric vehicles or see it?
You are more than welcome to always come up here. Please do call us ahead of time and schedule an appointment with us. At the current moment with the pandemic of the coronavirus, we are not allowing anyone to drive the vehicle, but you can afterwards be able to come in and you can actually drive with a representative with you, and you can ask any questions you may have. Is there another question?
One more. They said they saw our charging station, the one we used. If a member has an electric vehicle, can they utilize that station as well?
Yes, they can. Our station outside of our auditorium and our big parking lot, there is a charging station available, and you are allowed to use that. That is a level 2 charging station that you can plug into and be able to charge your vehicle for free. Now, we have some other opportunities. We talked about the vehicles in general. We've talked about how much they may cost. We've talked about where to charge them, how do we do that. We've talked about how far they go, what they look like, how fun they are to drive, which, trust me, they're pretty fun to drive. But we have some questions that people ask us all the time, specifically for Central Alabama. You guys probably guessed this first one, is I'm not one to drive a sedan all the time. I like driving my truck. I bet you a lot of us like to drive our trucks, and we go, hey, I'll get an electric vehicle if there's a truck. And we get that all the time. As of right now, there are no electric vehicle trucks, fully electric vehicle trucks on the market for purchase. There are 2 companies, however, that have already announced the manufacturing of their vehicles. The first one is from a new company called Rivian. Rivian is producing both a pickup truck and an SUV. And these vehicles, their specs show to be very similar to a regular pickup truck that we see out on the streets today. And these vehicles are shown to be able to be manufactured come 2021. The second company is already a known company in the electric industry, in the electric vehicle industry, and that's Tesla. And they've come out and they've announced their truck called the Cybertruck. And this vehicle, they've shown manufacturing and production to be able to be started in 2022. So these are both vehicles that you can already pre-order and you can be ready for them. And they look like they're going to be vehicles that'll be very well for that kind of vehicle, for being a pickup truck. Now, other brands have said that they are getting ready to announce an electric vehicle pickup truck, but they've just not done it yet. So we're waiting for any specific dates for them to come out. So we do feel that you're going to find electric vehicles getting generated and being able to come out manufacturing in trucks very soon. Looks like we have another question that's come in.
We do. What about an SUV for families? Maybe not necessarily a truck or a car, but something in between.
Now there are some that they claim to be SUVs. They're more sort of to the size of a crossover. But as of right now, there are no fully electric SUVs, but there are some coming. Rivian is that new company I told you. They're going to have an SUV coming out as well. More?
We do. Somebody was asking, what's the difference between the EV, like what we have, and an electric hybrid? How do those compare to each other?
So we've got the fully electric vehicle, the one where there's no gas engine, and there's just the electric motor and the battery that run the entire vehicle. A hybrid is going to be, as it talks about, it's going to have a little bit of both of the gas engine and the electric motor. So you have 2 different kinds of hybrids generally. You have the regular hybrid, where it takes the gas engine, and that's the main motor that's being used, and it will feed the battery and the engine for the electric side of it, and it'll be able to give you a few miles, usually around 20 to 50 miles depending on the brand. You also have what's called a plug-in hybrid. This is going to be one where you will plug in just like we do with our fully electric, and you'll have a spot to fill the gas tank, and you'll have a spot to charge with a cord. Now, do not get those confused. You do not want to put gas in the electric side, and you don't want to try to put the cord into the gas part. It won't work. However, you will be able to get a bigger battery, be able to get more miles on the electric side with a plug-in hybrid vehicle. So be sure to know which one you're purchasing if you decide to go with a hybrid vehicle. Looks like we have another question that's come in.
We do. Someone is wondering, since we know a lot about this, is there a forecast for electrical vehicles? Do you think they'll fade out internal combustion vehicles?
That's a very good question. The answer is we're not sure yet. This is a new product, but a lot of the experts, a lot of the industry does seem to think that this is going to be that next phase where we're going to go from the gas engine to this fully electric. And this is going to be something that's going to come, and there's forecast models or time frames that talks about this, and some for many years away, and some that say it could come within 2-3 years. Just depends on how fast that goes. But I will say that the biggest component that's going to make this adoption to electric vehicles grow faster is the increase in infrastructure of the level 3 charging stations. So one of the final questions we get, and this is one we get a lot, they'll tell you, Derek, you've told me how much it is. You've told me all this great stuff. You've said, man, this is an awesome area. And when I go to a dealership, I can't find one. Well, in central Alabama area, especially out where we are, there's very few dealerships that will have them. And if they do, they have maybe 1 or 2 vehicles on site. So if you're wanting to purchase one, you may have to travel outside of our area towards Birmingham or even towards into the state in Georgia to be able to purchase one. If you want to get one of the Tesla models, you will have to travel all the way to Atlanta, as that's their closest dealership. Now, you also have the ability to purchase one online. But if you do that, I would strongly suggest to going and getting a test drive of one. So again, you may have to travel out of the state, or you may have to travel to Georgia or up towards Birmingham or further to be able to test drive one, but know what you're getting before you purchase it. You don't want to get one without knowing exactly what you're getting for your dollars. Be sure to do that before you actually purchase one and do it online. So have there been any more questions that have come in?
Yes, we have several to deal with cost. The first one is, someone's asking about the average cost of a vehicle, or is there what would be a lower price model if someone's just looking at, trying the waters and see how it goes?
Well, we have several brands. Most major manufacturing are making these electric vehicles. Right now, one of the cheaper ones is going to be when I say cheaper, I mean in cost, not in the ability of the vehicle, is the Nissan Leaf. You can purchase a Nissan Leaf before tax credits, before incentives, around $31,000, around that ballpark. And again, it depends on the manufacturer. Some are going to be more higher ends, but again, it's going to be based on that brand. So if you have a brand that you really like, they're probably going to be coming out with an electric vehicle very soon.
Okay, still on the cost thought there. What about federal incentives, credits, anything like that that could help with the purchase of one?
There are some federal credits that are available right now. They are through tax credits. Most of them are going to be through the manufacturer. So you will need to check because it's based on how many they've sold. So each manufacturer has a different amount of rebate available. So you'd want to check with the manufacturer for purchasing one. And you may also want to check with your accountant, the person who's doing your taxes, to verify that you are eligible for that tax credit as well.
Okay, still on the cost. So very financial. Usually, how much is it to charge your vehicle at a charging station on the highway or in a public place?
So charging them in the public arena is very difficult to give a specific answer because a lot of them are based on the different levels. So again, we talked about the level 2 and the level 3. Now on level 2 charging areas, most of these are going to be found in restaurants, hotels, they're going to be found in malls or outlets, places like that where you're going to spend some time. And most of them are offering this as a free service. So it depends on where you're going. They may charge on a sit fee, so you may have to pay per minute, and that'll be dependent on the retailer or the hotel. It'll also depend on how they're going to charge you. So it could be per minute, it could be just for the charge. Most of the time in the public for a level 2, it's going to be free. When you look at a level 3 charging station, that is a little different. They will charge sometimes the same way per minute. They'll charge for the amount of electricity that you've generated or that you've consumed from them to charge your car. They could charge in multiple ways. So it's very specific on which brand that you're charging with, also where you're charging, because different states also show the different costs on that as well. But most, when you're charging a level 2, it's probably going to be free in this area.
Question regarding, I guess, before, when you just mentioned the states, do you know if the state itself in Alabama has a plan to roll out any additional charging stations or funding for that?
There is one with the Alabama Electric vehicle infrastructure plan. They have this plan to be able to install level 3 charging stations on major highways and interstates. Now this plan has just begun and it just got announced a few months ago. So it's going to be one where they're going to start in certain areas where there's long distance travel is more often done. And their plan is to put these charging stations within 50 miles of each other. Again, allowing people to have a long distance travel without the worry of getting stuck on the side of the road. So this way they can charge in multiple spots.
Okay, we still have some more. What about the old batteries of these? How are they recycled for those that might be concerned about the environment?
Now, these batteries, the original batteries were warranted for about 10 years, and they can last a little bit longer. These newer batteries, they're being tested or they're being manufactured and warranted for about up to 20 years. So they're lasting a very long time when they're doing that. And most manufacturers, when they are changing the batteries in a vehicle, they are reusing those and recycling them into the newer vehicles. So they're taking almost, I think it's 99% of the materials for electric batteries are being reused for the newer battery systems.
We may be convincing some people because someone wants to know how much would it roughly cost to get a level 2 charger installed in their home, and is there anything special they need to do for that? Do they need an electrician to come do that for them?
When it comes to the level 2 and putting it hardwired into your house, it is recommended to have an electrician do that, and those prices vary depending on the electrician and how long it takes to do so. Depending on where that charging station is located to your breaker box, then it'll be the amount of wire that goes there, have to drill into, so that becomes part of it. But on average, to purchase a station, you're going to see the cost anywhere from $200 to maybe $500 for that charging station. So not a whole lot of money in respect of everything else, but you're going to see where that cost is going to save you in the long run for your vehicle.
Another one. How about what is CAC and the cooperative? Do we have any special programs or rebates or anything in the rates or anything for our electric vehicle owners?
Well, at the moment, CAC is still in the research stage. We do not have any programs available at the moment, but it is something that we are looking into. As you can tell, we've got a lot of information, and now we're trying to figure out what's going to be best for you as a member.
What about service? If they have an EV, are there any service sites here in Alabama for repairs or common things that may just happen?
Well, we have to worry about that because we have to get the oil changed every month, right? Wait a minute, there's no oil in this. There's very little moving parts in this vehicle. It's the electric motor. The thing that you're going to have to do on average is going to be replace the windshield wiper fluid and maybe get your tires balanced and rotated. For the most part, that's the main maintenance you're going to have. Now, when it comes to checking the vehicle, when it comes to doing some more specific maintenance to the vehicle, that'll be dependent on the brand. Where companies like Tesla, you'll have to go to a Tesla certified center to have anything specific checked. They also have the ability to have one brought to you, a mobile service. I would again check with each manufacturer, like Chevrolet, Nissan, check with them beforehand, especially the dealership that you purchased the vehicle from, to find out a certified person who can work on the vehicles for you if you have a specific issue with your vehicle.
All right, I think we have time for one last question here. You just mentioned a couple brands. And the auto industry, of course, is a very big thing here in Alabama.
Yes.
And so do we know how, other companies that may be looking at branching onto more EV vehicles, adding that to what they offer customers?
Well, we do. There's some brands out there right now, or some major manufacturers like GM has just announced the production, I think, of close to 20 vehicles, and many of those will be some type of electric, whether it's the hybrids we talked about or a fully electric vehicle. So there's multiple brands, and almost every major manufacturer, not only in the country, but out overseas, is also beginning to manufacture these electric vehicles. So we're seeing these come out from most manufacturers right now. Well, guys, we thank you for all of these questions. And as you prepare to purchase your next vehicle, an electric vehicle is a great option for most people. If you have any questions about the purchase, the ownership, any other concerns, please feel free to give us a call. And you can reach me at 1-800-545-5735 and 178. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of the meeting.